Hello, I'm going to try and put my leg back together now. This isn't a how-to video, it's just my method of doing things. Take from it what you want, but have a look and see what you think. Okay, this is my lower unit now. It's had all the repairs necessary done to it. Where I've repaired those cracks, obviously now I've got to paint it. So it's all been rubbed down. All the high spots taken off, and now it's been coated with a few coats of aluminium etching primer. This primer allows you to paint on top of aluminium and your paint sticking. So it's had a good coat, couple of coats of aluminium etching primer, and now it's black. Okay, this has now had a few coats of just gloss black enamel paint. Nothing high tech, nothing flash, just out of a rattle can. There's the rattle can. Wasn't really expensive stuff, but it's gone on and it's done what I wanted it to do, which is tidy all that up. So now it's all painted. I've made a bit of a wooden stand for it to sit on to allow me to fit the upper unit of this leg down onto the lower unit. There's a few bits in here. This is the water tube. Okay, now this is the gear selector shaft. It selects whether it rotates forwards and backwards, and in that plane there. Right back there is forwards, right forward is reverse. Now this needs to be in forwards. So I've got to rotate that so that when the lever drops on it, it's pointing straight back. So I've grabbed hold of it, giving it a rotate. So rotating it through into reverse and then back into forwards, making sure it's all the way in forwards. And it's got a bit of grease on it to help it all slide in together. And this little hole here is the oil way from the lower unit to the upper unit. That has an O-ring seal on it. There it is with the O-ring fitted, and also there's an O-ring on the top of the drive shaft. You also have to put a bolt in here which holds the anode in place. Okay, this is the oil way that connects the upper and lower unit together, and you've got the water pipe which connects into the water pipe into water pump. Then up in there you've got the spline drive of the upper unit, and this is the little shift lever which drops down onto that spline shaft right at the back. Now apart from a wipe over, this is all pretty much ready to go back on. Okay, so I've got the upper unit and I'm just going to place it over everything. Trying to line all the bits up underneath, just lining up the water pipe into that white guide tube, lining up all the bolt holes, and just letting it, with a bit of gravity, slide down into place. At this point, with it not quite all the way together, it probably would have been a good idea to fit the two side bolts into the into the leg, because they're a real tight fit in the flanges. It probably would have been a good idea, you'll see why. Now I'm going to get a little turn of the drive shaft and it just drops down that last little bit into place. Now I should be ready to start bolting it all back together. This is where I realised that it would have been handy to have put those two side nuts on before it was all the way down, because they won't fit over the top of the stud and start because there's not enough room in between the two flanges on the outdrive. So now I've got to try and separate it again a bit, enough to get these bolts to start and wind them down halfway down the threads so that they all drop together. So what I'm having to do now is gently try and lift that top unit up enough to get those two side bolts in between the flange, side nuts, in between the flange and start down on top of the studs. which are deep in there. So just lifting it up a bit to give me enough clearance to slide the nut in over the top, and then gently trying to start it down onto the threads without cross threading it. So that's why I should have done it when it was just slightly apart. So now I've got a 5/8 AF spanner. I'm just going to start nipping down all the bolts that go through from the lower unit, all the nuts, that go through from the lower unit into the upper unit. So as it's just pulling it all together. Now I shall go around these doing a bit on each one in turn so it pulls it together square. At the moment I've just got an open-ended spanner on those two side nuts, running them all the way down into place. And there we have it. The game of two halves has now become one. Just got all the bolts to tighten up properly now, and then that's that all back together. Just check the rotation on the shift shaft is working properly, which it is. And now I'm going to go round and tighten everything down properly. Now I'm going to try and sit it up on my stand to allow me to get to the two nuts, which are underneath. I've broke my ratchet, so I have to operate it with a screwdriver now, look. So now I'm just nipping up the two 5/8 nuts, which come through from the upper unit into the lower unit, and the bolts are underneath. There's also an Allen bolt which is just above this, right at the end where the lower unit and upper unit go together. With the stand, with the leg on the stand in this position, I can actually get round every single nut which holds it all together. Just go round in a bit of a sequence of a rotation just to give them all their sort of final nip down. And it is actually pretty firm on this stand like this, which is allowing me to do all this without worry of it falling over or anything. So I'm quite happy about that. Okay, now just finally nipping up that Allen bolt that holds the very end bit together, and that's all those bolts nipped up now and done. This is my anode, which bolts on underneath the back of the leg. As you can see, it's hardly worn at all. This is made out of aluminium zinc alloy for use in salt water and fresh water, and somebody had actually painted it. They've obviously painted the bottom half of the leg before me, and they'd painted the anode, which is not a good thing to do because obviously the layer of paint acts as an insulator, which is what you don't want because you want an electrical connection between everything, and so it stopped it corroding. So I've got my 3/8 Allen key now in there, just nipping that on and back up, and then hopefully we should be nearly done. And there we have it. My lower unit is now connected to the upper unit of the leg, and that's ready to go back on. Okay, I'd just like to thank you all for watching. If that was any use or of any interest, then don't forget, give me a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. The channel's about the restoration of a boat and other stuff that I have to go and do. So it might be of interest to you to keep you posted, let you know when another one comes up. I'd like to thank you for watching. If you've got to this far without falling asleep, then I'll give you a thumbs up. Well done. I'll catch you on the next one. See you soon. Thanks a lot for watching. Don't forget, thumbs up if you liked it, subscribe if you want more. See you later.